Hello, my creative friends. In this video, I'm going to share the week's moon update with you so you can work with its energy in your art journal so that you can tend to your soul, do your deep emotional healing work, or practice your magic like I like to do. If you're looking to deepen your relationship with the moon and tap into its emotional or spiritual qualities, or even its magical themes, you're in the right place because every week I'm trying to share the moon as it's moving through the zodiac and when it's interacting with other planets. And I'm offering suggestions of how you can work with its energy every day. So, this is in my hopes that you are helping to deepen your relationship with the moon. Following the moon not only helps my nervous system, but it also deepens my spiritual practice. So, I'm hoping that you end up enjoying this practice as well. The point of these videos is not to give you like a thorough, detailed overview of the astrology. I will walk you through a lot of what's happening with the moon and the interactions it's having. And I'm going to offer tips on how to work with that energy in your art journal. But it's all for the point of giving you a creative and intuitive way of aligning with that energy so that you can use it to explore your own inner world and then to practice your magical practice or deepen your spiritual connections with nature and the natural cycles. So I'm actually going to go over the moon for the week of October 7th to the 13th. So usually I do these updates from the Monday until the Sunday. So what we're looking at as we're looking at the moon, there's my little drawing of the moon because, this is an art journal with the moon video. So of course there are going to be my journal pages like you've been seeing. But in the moon this week, what we're looking at is a growing moon. So we're moving towards a full moon that's going to happen on October 17th. Right now, the sun is in Libra, so it's reflecting light from the sun as it's in the sign of Libra. And it's moving through the zodiac signs of Sagittarius to Pisces. So you can see that in that diagram. And this is as well all up on my blog so that you can have a closer look at it if you want. And that's danadepont.com, as you can see at the bottom of that slide, and then just /blog. So some of the moon themes that we're working with this week is new beginnings, a next chapter, kind of like now what, asking yourself. We're also looking at some dream big themes and some possibilities the moon is inviting us to explore. We're also looking at some practical steps and some grounding dreams into reality. So you can have these big, expansive visions of your future, but how are you going to ground them in reality and how are you going to take action? And then another lovely theme that comes at the end of the week is just really thinking about how love, joy, and meaning and collective well being, what do those mean? And then also the opportunity to do some divination work in your journal on Sunday. So I'm going to go over that in a little bit more detail. On Monday, we're working with the waxing crescent phase, and the moon is in the sign of Sagittarius. And now that we've gone through this like whole period with the deep release of the eclipse, the moon's inviting us to imagine what newness looks in your life. So like when you think about the next chapter, or if you've been exploring the energy of the eclipse and how it affected you and what transformations it was bringing, what changes. I like to follow ancient astrology, so I like to really think and consider how I've been taught with the eclipses, which is to look at it as what new beginnings, what major new beginnings are happening, what major new endings are happening. Um, and then because that eclipse energy, obviously we're still in it, we're still kind of working with it, but there is this lighter energy with that Sagittarius sign that the moon is in that can kind of give us a little bit of space to consider and visualize what the next chapter might look like. So now that all that transformation happened, now that all that change happened, where do you want to go? Like, what did it make room for? And how do you want to fill that space? Now that you're different in some way, how does that change things? How does that change what you're thinking for the future? So on Tuesday, that moon is still in that waxing crescent phase and it's still in the sign of Sagittarius, but it's also having that happy relationship with Mercury. So Sagittarius is encouraging us to dream big and believe in possibilities beyond what we can see in front of us. But Mercury is asking you to break that down. Like, can you please take your big dreams and can you put them in actionable steps? So in your art journal, it's a really good day to visualize your future, but define some of the specific details of what you will need to do in order to create that. So you can be more detailed in your visioning because Mercury likes that as well. Like, don't just, consider the vastness of your big dreams or the emotions of your big dreams, but like really take a moment to think about the specific details and what do you want to manifest and what are some of the things that you're going to have to do to get there. That energy kind of continues to carry on Wednesday. I find that the moon is like doing this beautiful theme this week, because it's asking you to dream, but then it's asking you to really ground that. And it's doing that with Mercury. It's also doing that with the sign of Capricorn, because then the moon moves into that sign of Capricorn, which is grounded and practical and focused on building your future. But again, it wants you to take your ideas and dreams that you've been nurturing and just really bring them down to earth. So start laying the practical steps that you need to move forward. And when you're thinking about your long-term vision, your long-term desires for your future, what do you need to commit to today in order to make that happen? So in your art journal on Wednesday, you might actually even just want to do like a declaration or do some sort of vow. And I've been working with handprint art like a lot in the last couple months. And I'm really noticing the when you trace your hand, like when you place your hand on the page and when you trace it, and when you just have fun with images and words and how you would decorate your hand and like you just let that be a creative exploration, but there's something so powerful and so declarative when you set your hand on that page and then trace it. So I think it would be a great day to play with that idea in your art journal because there is this idea of like, what are you committing to so that your dreams can happen? What's the next step? It doesn't have to be a big step. You don't have to go grandiose. You can just consider what's the next indicated step. And then on Thursday, that first quarter moons, where like the moon is still obviously growing in energy and light. And it's in that sign of Capricorn, but it's having a happy relationship with Saturn and Venus. So there's this reminder that, you know what, it's not just about the work you want to do, and it's not just about making sure that what you're building like is all in alignment with what you want to accomplish or the goals that you want to set forth, but how is it everything that you're building aligning with your heart and your values? And are you making time in your future and in your present life, but even in your future visioning, are you making time for love and joy? And how are you weaving that into your magic and into your manifestation practices? So in your art journal, you just want to consider what does a fulfilling and meaningful future look like to you? How can you weave that joy and that sense of fulfillment into your magic, into your visioning, and into what it is you're building for the future? On Friday, the first quarter moon is in this, it moves into the sign of Aquarius. And here, Aquarius energy can really be giving us a sense of compassion and a desire to help others. So it's a great time for, yes, envisioning those new possibilities, but not just for yourself, but for your wider community or the world. And let me tell you, like, would the world really use some shifts and some changes in the direction of betterment for us all? Yes, I think so. So in your art journal, just imagine what you think a better world looks like or what that would look like in the future for your community. So give a little bit of love and attention to your idea of what your community needs and how you can contribute to that. On Saturday, the first quarter moon phase is again in that sign of Aquarius. So we're still thinking about the collective good, but because it's having a happy relationship with the planet Jupiter, who is in the sign of Gemini. And Gemini tends to be helpful with communication, learning, and technology. I think in your art journal, it's a great day to think or consider what our collective well-being would be like if we prioritized the earth, her animals, her creatures, um, above above innovation specifically with technology. So what would it look like if we just stopped moving forward, moving faster, growing, expanding, and just thought for a moment to ourselves as a community, as a world, and set some boundaries around our innovation and around our technology that said that it had to be first in alignment or it had to first prioritize our emotional well-being, our spiritual well-being, and that of the planet. On Sunday, the first quarter moon is in the sign of Pisces. So it moves into that sign, but it's also having a happy relationship with Mercury. Now, I share on my blog a lot more about this energy, but the moon is going to be drawing down every time it has a relationship with Pluto in the next little while and with Mercury, because on this same day, the moon is having this happy relationship with Mercury. Mercury is moving into the sign of Scorpio, where it's going to be for a few weeks. So it's that energy of Mercury being in Scorpio, which wants to communicate, those deep emotions, wants to express them in some way, and wants to consider them, wants to think about what was hidden, what you hid from your self, but that energy of Pluto as well, and what's going on with Pluto, and the fact that we're in the season of autumn, it all lines up to be this really powerful energy to work with transforming into your true self. So if you want to learn more about that, and consider maybe how to work with that in your art journal, you can again visit my blog, which is standardpont.com/blog. And then on Sunday, the moon is in that sign of Pisces. And this is a mistake because the visual, I put the wrong thing. Oh no, I didn't. Silly me. I'm talking about two slides on Sunday. I don't know what I was thinking. Look at me being more organized than I realized. Anyway, the moon in Pisces is that dreamy, intuitive, and deeply connected to your inner world. So, yes, I have some stuff on my blog to work with it in a general way and in a way that lasts for a few weeks. But working specifically on Sunday with the energy of Pisces is really helpful for tapping into that dreamy, intuitive quality and for just using it for some clear communication. Because again, it's having that good relationship with Mercury. So to me, that's like, oh, clear communication with my intuition and clear communication with my emotional realm. So, hello, great day to do some divination work in your art journal. So, do some scrying, pull some tarot cards, pull some oracle cards, and maybe just take your favorite words, your favorite images, and put those on the page, or even just write a letter to your spirit guides, your angels, anyone that you connect with, your ancestors, and receive a message and get some insight, or ask a question and ask for some help, because Sunday's a really great day to do that intuitive work. So I think, have a little fun with it as well in your journal. So I hope this has helped you consider how you can work with the moon this week in order to really tend to your soul, practice your magic, or do your deep emotional healing work. If you want to do it together, I do a weekly online gathering. It's the Witchy Wednesdays Art Circle. We meet online in my Zoom room and we practice that moon magic in our art journals to either do some emotional healing or to do some manifesting work. And then we work with the MAP method to clear some subconscious blocks that are standing between you and your dreams. So there's some creative work, and then there's some deeper subconscious work that we do at the end. This week, the theme is working with the shadow work. So doing some shadow work together. So hop on if you are interested in that. And if not, we'll see you next week.